Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League Matchday 22. Joining me on the desk is PDG. I'm, of course, Jimmy Nesso. Pete, we've got some fantastic Counter-Strike action ahead of us in the North American season.
We do.
Two teams that have had very differing runs of form, particularly one of late. We've got SK up against eUnited.
Yep.
Everybody knows SK's story. Pete?
Very, very storied franchise.
Fill in the blanks a little.
Well, I mean, let's just go ESL Pro League specific here for just a minute. SK, horrible start to their season. An completely unprecedented drop-off in form. But having seen the return of Fur, they're back on the bandwagon and looking as strong as ever. So eUnited are going to have their work cut out for them. Now, eUnited's story in this season so far, not that positive. Only 2 map victories across their matches so far, and I guess the bright spot for them though, Jim, one of those matches coming up against one of the victories against the Mortals. So that is the flavour of Brazil already been tasted by eUnited, and they've come away with at least one victory there. But I mean, SK is a different beast. So
yeah, it's not that flattering for eUnited at the moment. Obviously struggling. I guess for their sake, it's going to be a tough one up against SK, a team that's had that resurgent form. They're really starting to find their feet again. Yep. They're no longer having to use that stand-in. And they've looked sensational since re-adding him to the team and then finding their feet. So
it's amazing exactly how much difference that one sub-out can make to the entire operations of a team in terms of how they operate. Although Fur, crucial cog in the wheel of SK. He's not just that entry fragger you can just swap out straight away and just sort of get someone to produce at a similar level, but at the same time have a different play style and a different way of doing things. First sort of plays that lurking clutch midway through the round role and gives a lot of input, a lot of experience. So when you lose a player like that, just being off a few seconds on those timings makes all the difference. And yeah, they looked lackluster without him, and straight back to the world champion form that we know they're capable of with Fur back in the lineup. So obviously eUnited, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Shinobi, Vice, TCK, A2Z, and CJ.
Yeah, it's been a sea of red for their form, unfortunately. If you look at their map wins, and I think the only other one came, as you said, the Immortals, and the other one was against Selfless, who themselves have also struggled. So sitting in very different positions there on the overall ladder.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how this match goes, but Pete, predictions early on. We've got Dust2, which is SK's pick, being played first. How do you feel as though this one's going? I mean, it's almost we're ignoring the elephant in the room, which is SK's form.
Yeah, look,
stature.
I think SK should comfortably run away with this 2-0. They need to run away with this 2-0. They're sitting 7th on the ladder at the moment after their horrible start, and they're really starting to bring it back. But ladies and gentlemen, we will go live here into the pistol round. The SK boys in blue to start with. Of course, FNX, Fallen, Fur, Cold, Zira needs no introduction. And your boy Taco coming up against CJ, Vice, Shinobi, TCK, and A2Z. eUnited on that T side to start off with. And they're just going to dance around top mid for a while there and see what they can come up with. And Fur's going to come up with a headshot straight away. But he's also been punched pretty hard in the face there. Only 16 HP remaining. But eUnited looking to work slowly out long. It's not going to be without its battles here, as Fallen here's the oncoming attack coming, and Vice will get one, but Fallen here with the opportunity to go huge doesn't get any there, unfortunately. Yeah, star player for SK going down, and looks as though this one's going the way of eUnited at the moment, but Cold Zero is quickly on the flank.
Yeah, really simple strategy from SK, and now it's all on Cold Zero. He's not able to do too much with his positioning, and the headshots coming out from eUnited are just flattening SK at the moment. They take that round, but very simple strategy from eUnited, grouping up, trying to get out long early on. The Molotov obviously stopped them in their tracks, but no success found for SK despite taking those aim duels early on. They're going to buy into this round as well, falling with that scout, some CZs across the board, and a little bit of armor to pepper things.
It was a really unusual setup from SK there. Someone at the car on pistol round, you don't see all that often in combination with just that one A player. Usually there's a couple of players fighting from the bomb side if there's one at the car. But SK changing things up. Who am I to question the strategy of the world champion side, as CJ opens up onto FNX there, so that's a good start. Jim, these anti-ecos are nightmarish against SK. They're so sharp with those pistols, and of course Fallen with that scout. They pose almost an unparalleled threat on the force buy rounds with these pistols and the scout.
That they do, and it's a very, very daunting prospect to come up against not only just these players, but these players with weaponry such as this, and aggression as well. I think, might I add, that these guys have been very, very aggressive in the way they've taken aim drills already. And eUnited are doing quite well here. They're grouping up in mid, in lower dark, and not trying to take those individual aim drills and be isolated. So, going to try to work their way into short at the moment. SK Fallen trying to do some damage there. He does get a bit of damage done with that scout, and there we have eUnited heading towards A.
Yeah, and the eUnited side, although they're 5-3 up at the moment in this round, this could go the way of SK, but it doesn't there. Shinobi, nice UMP work onto the head of Fur. He was a dangerous prospect for a while there, but good use of the Molotov grenade, flashing him out of that bomb site and making sure that the T's get a safe passage in. Now, of course, Fallen has fallen back into the B site and will just continue to peruse the middle of the map just to see if he can pick one up, but for the most part, it'll be eUnited starting solidly.
Starting very solid. They're wanting to save that weaponry. SK take it into the next round. And pose a threat there. Obviously, with that scout still being up, Fallen, always a dangerous prospect, but gives them more options with what they can do next round. So, very important that he does try and take that. eUnited are not very interested in trying to push the issue either. They're more content with trying to save their own weaponry and armor, HP on them. They got tagged down quite a lot. You could see they're taking a battering, but they survived. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how much damage Fallen did without getting a kill there, because I think he tagged up 3 people, a couple through mid-doors there. So it was an okay start to the round for SK. Did a lot of damage, but eUnited able to hold on to all their players, and now that they will reward themselves with a comfortable position, moving into the third round. eUnited here with just the one player picking mid, and it's actually TCK watching the lower dark push there. So eUnited deciding that they're going to staunch out long, and they will indeed. A2Z getting in the pit, but Fallen will cop that boost back up into the bomb site, so he'll get a chance to fire away, and he doesn't connect on the first shot. But Fallen's going to get his chance to contribute, but TCK nails him first time. Fur does pick up that scout and fire away, but this one looks like eUnited has it all wrapped up already. Great work by them, and they should get the bomb plant down here.
Again, just grouping up quite well. Great movement there from SK to get Fallen into the site and try and get him working with that scout. Didn't work that way. The investment just wasn't there from SK, and eUnited, recognising that their weaponry was superior, tried to take the most advantageous spot on the map, Dust2, which is long, which makes sense given the range of their weaponry.
Be interesting to see if Shinobi upgrades here. You can see he's got a lot of cash on hand, but that UMP can be utilised, obviously, at this level with armor penetration, but he's managed to swap guns with CJ, so CJ will take on the responsibility of that UMP. And SK here will buy into this round as much as they can. One FAMAS on FNX, and this is going to be a B push here by the T's. And Fur's just going to, my apologies, Taco's just going to line him up, gets the first, and it's going to be on Cold Zero coming in. The spray control on point there from the 2 Brazilians, and now it's just going to be a whitewash here for SK. Taco firing away, he does find the headshot in the end. And I'm not a huge fan of the B rush in the first gun round. I've got to admit, there's got to be something you have up your sleeve before you have to revert to that.
They didn't even get a single entry frag, nor a trade. Nothing happened there for eUnited, and they were just obliterated. And you really can't feed monsters like Taco and Cold Zero at that B-bomb site. They now know that.
Yep.
Hopefully we won't see that
and they should have known that
again.
going in, but if they didn't, they certainly do now. And interestingly, Jim, that B rush can work. But for me, Shinobi needed to get onto that AWP last round and fire a few through the mid doors to keep someone occupied or try and get a tag off. Something, some sort of distraction with the AWP is often required for that B rush to be really effective. And as it stood, Taco and Fur easily able to deal with the oncoming eUnited team. So we find ourselves in round 5, 3-1 to eUnited. SK starting well on their first gun round, getting a clean sweep, and that'll be good for their money. But right now, eUnited just working their way up catwalk, getting that short position. That grenade is going to chunk down A2Z. 45 damage. The feet just getting blown off there.
tasty.
SK will actually be in a really good position for this one, Jim. They've got 3 still towards the long side of A. It's going to be no immediate push from the long lurker there, which is Vice. He'll have to come through a bit later. The bomb has been picked up by Shinobi, and they will head back towards A. But, yeah, as I said, SK Boys in a decent position to fight this one off. The long push is coming in now, and it's just a matter of time before we see this A execution for United.
And the entry, CJ opening that up, but now they've got to contend with FNX and Fallen. Fallen and FNX just crossfiring, but Fallen's aware of their potential presence at long. I don't know if the timing's going to get to him, though. He does get taken down. FNX with a nice double before he gets obliterated, but now, as you can see, they're coming up the city ramp. Frag's going largely United's way, but now it's a 2 versus 1. Taco, he needs to be able to try and isolate players, and at the moment, he's not able to do that. United get their first round. Yeah,
first gun round there for United, so lovely stuff coming out.
The most important round, the gun round.
Yeah, absolutely. The Canadian A2K, they're able to open up a couple of times onto the retaking players of SK, and that was really good work. The thing I liked about that, though, Jim, was the patience of the long player there, Vice. He really waited just the perfect amount of time to put off the long hold of SK. I thought they were in a little bit of trouble because they did come out short, disjointed, but it worked out perfectly in the end for the eUnited players, and they go 4-1 up in.
I'm glad to see them not rush B. That's the most important part. They had far more success just trying to isolate players, grouping up through short, taking that first gun round, and that is a much better performance from United. SK able to buy into this, though. 2 UMPs. Fallen and Fur are going to try and utilise those to the best of their ability. You can see Fallen very, very advanced in short. He's just going to drop that smoke and sit into CT. He's got a little bit of information to help his team out, but not a lot given the context of the round because it's still quite early on. There's still a minute to work with for eUnited, and they're just getting themselves grouped up in short, taking a key position on Dust2.
It's funny, the short area of Dust2 is... It flows in and out of the meta. Sometimes the CTs will hold in short for long periods and then work out ways of putting out Molotovs and dodging flashes, and the terrorists generally will come up with a technique to take short pretty effectively, and now you can see most teams don't even fight that short area. They either push short and take mid and have mid control, or they fall right back on the bomb site. It's rare that you see anyone but an AWPer just fight that first kill at short. It's going to be FNX going down at long to Vice, so once again that play doing really well, and CJ will open up to Fallen, so this is going the right way, but look at this from Fur. He's got 1, he's got 2. Can he get the third? No, A2Z closing that one out, and there's another 3 versus 2 here in the favour of eUnited, and coldzera uncharacteristically just missing a shot there, and it will be on him and Taco just to retake this 3 versus 2.
And Molotov will just zone him off and buy a little bit of time with Taco and coldzera trying to work this retake, but they've still got to eliminate long as well. coldzera just pushing up the CT ramp. If you can isolate TCK, that would be fantastic, but they know where A to Z is, and they're just playing the positions quite perfectly at the moment. eUnited not overextending themselves. Great work there, and the simple 3 versus 2. Didn't lose anyone, more importantly. SK weren't able to isolate any terrorist post-plant, which is fantastic, which means they worked that post-plant positioning very, very well.
Yeah, no, look, great start here from eUnited. And particularly, I like the recognition, Jim. I like the recognition of going B on that first gun run, getting absolutely waxed. The Mr. Miyagi treatment from SK at B. But since then, they've really concentrated on that A split, and it's worked a treat.
It's worked a treat for them. Indeed, but a little bit of a tech pause here at the moment as we have a timeout on eUnited's. But I've been really impressed by eUnited. They've worked their opponent's map pick quite well so far, utilising the T side and getting themselves opening frags and also converting from there as well.
Absolutely. It's hard to ever truly worry about SK when they're in this position. There are teams where when they start 5-1, you're like, you know, they're a really momentum-based team and they don't have a lot to fall back on, so, you know, it's going to be difficult for them to get back, but of course we know SK, that's not the case. So we're going to have to just wait and see exactly how many CT rounds they can pilfer away from the eUnited players. I suspect they only really want to shoot for 5 or 6. Obviously, not they want to shoot for 5 or 6, they want to get all 15, but at this point they'd be content with 5 or 6 going into their T side, because once the likes of Fallen and coldzera get on that T side with the op, things can become a little bit more hairy for eUnited.
I would be very curious as to whether now SK try and get themselves correct with their money. They're reset, at least in terms of the economy on that CT side at the moment, with the FNX and Cold Zero not being able to buy, because they're only sitting around that $1,900 mark. Taco is also is around that 2,000, but they're getting back into the match here, and I will dare say that this eco from SK, they haven't bought anything into it. They've been very, very disciplined in that. eUnited now heading towards that B-bomb site early on, grouping up again quite well. This is something they've been doing not only on their anti-eco rounds, but also on their gun rounds, and that's been working very, very well for them.
And it's going to be a B push here from eUnited. It's a good read too. It's just Taco in that B site with a USP that's going to try and fight. And he gets one, actually. Does a lot of damage to the second. Taco, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, Taco has just got 2 kills. Silence USP. That's
okay. Avoid B.
I mean, I just sung their praises for avoiding B and taking the logical approach, working that A split. And I mean, the grenade work there from eUnited was horrible, though. No grenades, no flashes, and no Molotovs coming into the bomb site there. No smoke on the door. Just, yeah, they look rattled there, eUnited.
And here's that double AWP setup with Cold Zero and Fallen that we know SK and love SK for. And Shinobi's got a very tough task because he's got that AWP on eUnited's side and got to contend with some of the best, but I don't know what they were doing on the anti-eco. I honestly don't.
It was gobsmacking, to say the least. I don't know how Taco survives there with no armor. He just needs to get spammed through the box straight away. Yeah, well, they got isolated at the top of mid, essentially, and that push from SK at the moment. Great work from Fallen. They're picking up that frag. But they were pushed everywhere, then pushed into the B-bomb site, and they really didn't get the trades. Just simply not good enough. But they're already now in a 3v5 situation on that follow-up gun round, so Fur, does he know what he's walking into? Surely he's in the top of the head. Not quite, as Shinobi actually spots one out in that site, and they're going to try and fight their way in through Short. Short's been very successful for them as opposed to trying anything at B, so not surprising to see them back trying this again. In this 3 versus 5, they've got to make it work, though. They certainly do, and FNX will grab that AWP as well, so he's picked up that and given the AK to Fallen now, because FNX is on 19 HP, he wants to take those range battles, very smartly transferred that weapon across so he can take those duels, but he's going to peek out first, actually. Fur in the bomb site. It's going to have to do pretty good work here, and he goes down as well. Shinobi picking up a double, and now all of a sudden eUnited back on the A front there, but Taco coming around just in time. Should be able to do enough here, and yes, Fallen will pick up one, and that will be the round. Taco picking up the next, so SK picks up the round, but you can't help but feel they lost a couple of guns there when not really required. You know, FNX overextending with that AWP and not picking a line where he could get away. And then, obviously, just a shot being hit by eUnited coming in to the A-bomb site there. But SK have done enough, Jim. They are going to force eUnited onto this eco. And it's a good read here by Fallen, the SK in-game leader, as he tells Fur to man up mid with that SMG to try and get some kills. But it'll go eUnited's way right now. And Cold Zero will be left to fight mid doors. He'll fall back, but yeah, lots of pressure coming out onto SK now, and it is eUnited rolling out mid. Cold Zero will just keep picking, because why not? As Taco's already got control of Lower Dark, and this one should be all over bar the shouting.
And Cold Zero picking up another frag there as they try and get out mid. Great work there from CJ to find a reply, but at the moment they're very, very broken in their play, so they're just being mopped up across the map here by SK. But it's back to a 2 versus 3, and Taco makes that a 3 versus 1, so yeah, as I say that, the hope is eliminated.
Shinobi, if he had kept pushing up a dark there and chased down the frag on Taco, that was really interesting because CJ got the kill onto Cold Zero at CT spawn, and had Taco gone down to B, that is essentially the whole side of the map to the T's. They could have got the plant down, who knows from there. CJ wouldn't have been able to retrieve that AWP he got because it was deep in CT spawn, but the numbers advantage would have been a 2 versus 2. Bomb down, who knows what would have happened. Taco there, though, able to pick up at least 2 frags and shut it down. SK reverting back to this double AWP setup.
And reverting back to some sense here for eUnited with not that straight out B rush, but a very default split pick across the map with that.
I don't even know how...
SK sent out AWP into short, Fallen, peeking that shuttle line. He's done this quite a few times.
I don't even know how you can even contemplate sending players to the B side of the map. I just don't know what what they're thinking. And Cold Zero is holding a really tight line on the right side of Upper Dark there. So as soon as the terrorist walks out here, they're going to get picked off. And there it goes. CJ gets taken down. And now will the T's push in? No. The smoke and flash combo from Cold Zero. And the thought of a decal going on the wall in his honor has forced them away from the B-bomb side.
And they're going to head back towards mid at least. Wait for TCK to try and do something out. But if he's not careful, he's actually going to be encroached on here by Fur. Or alternatively, has he hurt Fur? Takes him down in the back and now heading back towards that B-bomb site. They've got Tarka to contend with on the back of the platform. He sprays down one through that smoke. Looking for that second. Does get it. And surely he knows A2Z is there, taking him down. And now it was that late lurk from TCK in mid, which was a little bit too late. There wasn't any real need for a rotation there from SK. They played it quite well. And that's just due to the solid B hold from Tarko.
Well, I mean, mid and B have been on a lock for SK, so that's fine. Long and short, though, they've had issues. They've had really big issues, actually, making sure that they are in the right spots and not getting crossfired on as the T's enter, that A-bomb side. And eUnited not really recognizing that as such, and they're going to continue to put some pressure towards B. I don't mind sending one play B, and of course this is an eco, so not really too much investment here for eUnited. But on the next gun round, surely we need to see that A split resuming for the eUnited team. Surely.
Well, they need to go back to what was working, and that's exactly what was working for them. But at the moment, they're just taking these Angels. They do get Cold Zero, so it's back to a 4 versus 4. Oh, that grenade singed the eyebrows of Shinobi there with 5 HP remaining. And they're going to continue to try and peek here into mid, try and take that duel. If they do manage to pick up Tarko, they could really open up this side of the map, though.
Yeah, they could. And now they're doing the smart thing, I guess, and working their way back towards short, where they've had some success. Obviously, this round isn't going to be ideal for them. Fallen, I thought, just spotted one jumping up onto Xbox, but TCK will find his way out mid here, and he's cleaned close, but will be Fallen just firing away there at the mid doors. A2Z's actually deagled Fur in the head, so this will be interesting. And the A pressure continues to work here from eUnited as FNX fires away, but it won't be enough. Just that disadvantage in weaponry is really costing eUnited here. But in saying that, they've actually managed to get 3 kills this round, which is a really great eco. So eUnited doing what they need to do, but get to short earlier. Get to short and long earlier. Don't worry about mid and B eUnited, because SK know exactly where you're coming from there. Let's see more of those A splits, because they were working quite nicely.
They have been, and even on those ecos, they were able to pick up a few frags. And they were not really doing anything particularly special.
SK getting caught out a lot, Jim, on that A ramp and CT spawn ramp, just out of position, rotating between, between angles. So I think that eUnited has a good feel for what's going on at A, and it's good to see them slowing down now and just working their way into a pretty defensive default with the option later of getting back up catwalk. So slowly and methodically, they will work their magic on the T side, but yeah, they're going to be pretty slow here working into the first sort of 45 seconds of the round.
Grouping up in mid is boding well for them. This is where they've been their most successful, eUnited, with that grouping up in mid, taking them short, and then trying to trade their way into that A-bomb site, which has even worked for them, as you said, on the eco rounds with just pistols. So heading up and grouping up into short. At the moment, the CTs are sitting around that A-bomb site, very much clustered there. They've actually got Cold Zero boosted in, he's self-boosted in CT spawn. So he's just watching for that mid to B. He's got that line above the boxes, which will be very, very pesky if they do decide to try something there. But more importantly, he's sitting on the A side of the bomb site, so the rotation is going to be really quick, but they're going to try their hand at long.
Yeah, that's not a great smoke for me, that mid to B smoke, because what it's actually done is it's forced the CT player to go towards A. And of course, that is the end game here for eUnited. 30 seconds to go. They will be held off by Molotov. Fur sitting in this smoke, letting the T's dance around him. He has an opportunity to make a huge play, but obviously these things are a lot harder than they look sometimes, but not for Fur. 1, 2. I thought he was going to get that one a bit sooner, and he'll be forced to reload, but it won't matter. The round goes the way of SK because of the timer. So Shinobi will be left on a whole of 1 HP before FNX fires down there. And SK saw that coming from a mile away, Jim. They knew what we knew, that B was on lockdown, so they stacked towards the A-bomb site. But again, I thought for eUnited, if your intention was to actually take that A-bomb site, that mid to B smoke is actually non-advantageous to you. So maybe a reverse mid to B smoke, maybe even a CT drop smoke to put some doubt into the minds of SK in terms of their rotational paths, but not really used there by eUnited. So 7-5 SK after a bit of a rocky start. They've managed to get their feet on the ground, Jim, and they look pretty good right now. eUnited with those 5 AKs, but an uphill battle has started because SK had got their 7 on CT.
And for he's hide-and-go seek champion of 2016. That was the play, though. And it's him. He picked up 2. More importantly, he created complete confusion among eUnited, and that was...
It was just sick awareness.
It
wasn't just that first sat in that smoke at long. It was that he actually moved himself around perfectly so that no terrorists ran into him as they were running through the smoke as well, which is actually quite a hard skill. Sometimes you can pop a shoulder out or your dot appears on the radar and, you know, you're exposed. So really well done there by Fur at long for SK. And once again, the eUnited side are moving towards the state bomb set, which I like, once again. But they're going to have to show me a pretty cool execution to get past the keen eyes of Fallen with that AWP.
And they're just waiting it out here at the moment. And Fur, just waiting for that pallet jump. He's going to take first contact and obviously fall to try and support Fallen from there. But here we go. They are going to take that side. Fallen gets that first opening frag. And now, see Fur just crouching there. He's going to look for that second one. Fallen does get the tag, but no conversion yet on that frag for the moment. coldzera just waiting in CT spawn at the moment. They made the trades. This is where they've been quite good at eUnited. Now they're grouped up in this bomb site, though. They need to get themselves out, but they're not aware of coldzera's position. He's called that they've dropped into CT spawn, but they've left the bomb site completely unmanned. Taco cleans up, and coldzera, and that is the round to SK. eUnited have been great in getting into a bomb site.
Yeah.
Post-plant, they panicked.
They panicked. The 3 of them just basically were like, oh, CT spawn, and they all just sort of went there without really covering any other angle, which is a little bit weird, but you can understand also maybe what they were doing, you know, isolate one guy down and then fight from the same angle, but it was very, very awkward as the play of coldzera came up behind them, and of course you don't want coldzera behind you in any sort of situation.
You don't want him in front of you.
No, you don't want him in the server, really. That's the best part. You know, the best way to beat coldzera is to let him not join the server, I think, as Fur takes down the first and maybe even the second there. Yes, he will. Maybe the trip, and he does. Fur just going absolutely bonkers up mid there. This is a gun round, people, and it will be TCK firing back onto coldzera before Fallen. Taking down 1, and all of a sudden CJ's left in a 2 versus 1. The bomb has been gotten. Not just yet.
And if anybody wanted to ask the question whether or not Fur was back, yeah, I think he's answered that.
Fur's back, ladies and gentlemen. Fur is back, and he's in sparkling form as always. So SK 9-5. As we said, after a rocky start, they've managed to put 9 on the board, so they'll be completely happy with how this is going. Jim, for me, though, eUnited, they did at least recognize the A-bomb site was where it's at. But for me, in the first few rounds when they were winning, they were taking that bomb site at around the minute 15, minute 20 mark. It was a lot faster in their progressions, and they weren't letting SK get to their spots and get comfortable. Right now, it's slowed down way too much for eUnited. They're giving SK too much respect after they lost a few rounds. Early on, they were just pushing through smokes and getting up in their grills and playing really well. And the fear of SK has been put in them as Fallen picks up a double before he goes down. Sick AWPing there. We know he's capable, and now it's FNX firing away, but he's been trapped in the edge of a Molotov. His movement slowed, and Vice takes advantage of that with the Galil. So 3 versus 3 now here for eUnited.
What a shot there from Fallen. What a fantastic double of AWP shots. But now it's a 3 versus 3 situation, and they're just going to try and stop SK from taking this, but you know SK are coming. It's the last round of the half, so there's only so much you can do. Vice is able to find one, but now 2 versus 3 situation. coldzera and Taco to try and get this going.
He's going to have to do something pretty special here. He's tackling the last round of the half, and he will get the first, but long way to go. TCK able to nail Taco there. We will go into the half, Jim. 9 rounds to 6. eUnited putting up a decent front there. Well, that's what we can expect.
Fantastic half there from SK. They did manage to claw it back after some early starts. It was about 4-1, I believe, to eUnited.
It was, and they started really well. As I said, they were able to catch SK out of position a lot during the first, few rounds of the match, especially that pistol round looked great for them. First couple of gun rounds looked great for them. They were getting the CT players rotating through CT spawn, getting them halfway up that ramp, taking those favourable duels with the AK, shooting down upon their enemies. They were playing really well. And then SK won a few rounds. Taco won memorable round in B with only a silenced USP. After that, eUnited turned into a different team. They went back into their shell, and they're like, wow, these guys are SK. We now have to start respecting them. Well, why? You're winning, running through the smokes in A, getting aggressive, getting in their grills, and trying to fight them on that front. Once they went to those late-round executions, they had nothing.
Well, it wasn't only that, too. SK were very, very aggressive in some of their pushes. They were very unpredictable in the way that they actually managed to do that. Fur often running through those double doors in mid, pushing up. He had the support of Fallen there, watching his back as he did that, pushing into the lower dark. They were very unpredictable, and you could see how that actually worked in the later part of the first half. eUnited really started to slow down what they were doing, fearful of those aggressive pushes.
But
so
I
it
think
played into SK's hands a little.
It did, definitely, and you're spot on with your analysis there. But for me, what actually negated that really great play early by SK was the aggression from eUnited. eUnited were already sort of getting into their spots before that flank could come in from SK, and it was working really well. Fur wasn't catching anyone off guard in the first few rounds. They were shutting him down as he was pushing, or they were finding an opening onto him. But then, as you said, as eUnited slowed down, it really was Fur coming into his own, pushing through those smokes.
Yeah, it had a bit of a late start to the round, late start to the half, but he was so aggressive. That's why his death count was so high. I think it was something like 12 in the half.
Yep.
But that's because he was charged with being the aggressor, getting things going, starting with those pushes up mid. Often, he was getting multiple frags, but if he was alive late round, I was very surprised.
Certainly. Now, SK jump onto their favoured T side on Dust2, already putting up 9 rounds on their CT side. So they'll be comfortable here with where they're at. eUnited with a chance actually to pick up the pistol and draw level. So this is massive for them as Shinobi fires that USP up mid. He's going to be crucial for the eUnited team as he was on that AWP and doing decently as well.
Probably not having the desired effect that he wanted though against some of the best players to ever grace the scope, but a valiant effort as we have a very, very slow start here from SK, just trying to wait out any aggression from eUnited. You can see eUnited are very, very, very defensive, in fact. They've taken control of the pit. They've just got that one man in Shinobi spotting through short. SK are grouping up there, but not a lot of information coming the way of eUnited at the moment, so they're just having to hold their positions. They're not actually pushing for information either, so SK Gaming are gaining a lot of territory here at the moment, and if they look to be doing what I think they are, a mid to B split is on the cards.
Yeah, it's a good read here, and Fallen just coming at mid with his teammates. They're going to go for a late smoke, so they're already out the doors before the smoke pops in. CT spawn, giving the other side no time to react. The flash comes over, and that will be great. TCK is in a woeful spot here to have a USP. It is Vice covering the window, and he needs to do more, and it will be TCK picking up one as Vice picks up one as well, but it won't be enough. 3 players of SK onto that B bomb site. The plate will go down, and we'll see a 3 versus 3 retake coming in here from eUnited, but the Brazilians taking their time, getting the bomb down. FNX wary of that. Up a dark push, and he snaps A to Z. Straight away, Shinobi going to have to do bulk lifting here as he's going to come through the doors with his teammates. Walking in here. Can he get the opening? No. Taco there with the Rec 9 picking up a double. Shinobi CJ stood no chance as all 3 players of SK whisk their aimers around to the door. Taco gets a double. And that sounds like a good Friday night Mexican meal. The taco double. Yeah, the double. Very, very, very much needed for his team as well. Great aggression here coming out from SK early on. Look at the damage done to A to Z and TCK. I'll show you CJ. They've copped a lot at long. And P250 buy coming out from
eUnited, but no real investment, just those upgraded pistols, and sorry, TCK on that 5.7. So with Vice, just trying to make things happen. You can see they're using those SMGs, SK, and really just trying to farm that money, and that's fairly standard in the meta at the moment, so nothing really exciting to write home about at the moment, but they're very, very cautious of these attempts to push the flank from eUnited.
SK have a really unique way of playing anti-ecos, and it stems from the fact that Fallen's so comfortable on that scout no matter what round of the game it is. So instead of that 3 rifle, 2 SMG setup we see from a lot of teams, they're able to actually utilize a 3 rifle, scout, and SMG setup a lot of the time, especially on Dust2 where there's a lot of range battles and the scout can be super effective. And once again, there goes Fallen with that nominated weapon. And he's just so effective. Even on rounds we saw them lose we saw them lose in the second round of the first half, but Fallen still got 3 or 4 hits off with that scout. So right now for SK, they're just controlling the tempo here, ladies and gentlemen. Fallen there getting a double with that scout already. Taco's going to roll in, but coldzera will beat them to the punch. And CJ will be left at top mid to go down to FNX. Clean, efficient, crisp there from SK, adding a little bit of that German efficiency into their Brazilian flavour. And taking the 17th round, and they will 11-6, moving into the 18th.
Very comfortable, as you said, on his anti-ecos in general. Grouped up quite well. Trading if needed. Obviously, there was no need for a trade in that round. They were all quite comfortably able to take wherever they wanted. And aggression here from SK early on finds that frag for Shinobi. So the pistol play just being destroyed at the moment. They do trade their way out long, and they're coming to a head there in mid. It's actually TCK that manages to charge through, pick up coldzera, but no prize for him just yet. And he's tracing this frag onto Taco. Does take him down as well. So SK have forgotten about planting the bomb. They're going straight for TCK here.
Yeah, they don't really care much for that extra 300 beans for planting the bomb, but they will be more concerned about the terrorists saving that AK more than anything. So maybe not so concerned right now because they're up 12-6 against eUnited, but that's just really good practice there from SK. Making sure that they're playing at the highest possible level all the time, and that is a good decision there because, I mean, yes, they favour themselves against eUnited, but perhaps against others, they might not want the AK in their hands. So they did what they had to do to clean up, and it will be Shinobi actually opening up onto Fur with that AWP. We said he's been doing some decent work. Vice takes down Taco, so going really well here for eUnited. And I think, Jim, that's been a theme of this game so far. Shinobi getting a second kill there onto coldzera, so he's started very, very well in this first gun round for eUnited. The flash comes down mid, and it will be TCK taking down FNX, so potential clean sweep here for eUnited. Jim, third kill for Shinobi, I should say. If the round goes, less than a minute, they have a much better chance of winning the round. The longer that round draws out, SK just look better and better and better. So eUnited need to keep the pace up.
Immediately, SK was putting pressure on the extremities of the map. Straight into B, straight out long, and then back into mid as well. That's how they're trying to pressure their opposition. Obviously, that wasn't to be the strategy there because they were absolutely obliterated. FNX using a spawn to try and pick up a frag at long. Doesn't hit the shot, so they don't get that man advantage going into round, but they're just going to readjust for that and set themselves up for something fairly default. coldzera on that UMP, so they're really trying to force the issue here. Shinobi's taken a world of damage, and he did take that, I do believe, it long. He might have actually been tagged down. I don't think Fur actually hit the shot, though, so I'm a little bit confused as to where that has come from. But now, with eUnited spread fairly standard across the map, SK start to work their magic.
Yeah, they will here, and there's still an AWP on Fallen, so absolutely favoured here, SK in this round. Shinobi has done great work, but he's tagged down pretty low, and a well-placed grenade could see him go down on that A ramp, but as it stands, SK happy to just hang around a while in mid and short, but that spray battle does go the way of the CT in that occasion. CJ, I believe it was, firing down onto Fur there at long, but only very slight damage they're taking for Fur. 12 damage actually with an AK. So don't know how that works. Maybe just a couple of tags through the door. As it stands, SK will find their way back towards the B-bomb site. 30 seconds to go, so they're really going to have to get their wriggle on here, will SK, and it will be Taco there finding Vice, and now it will be FNX opening up onto the B-bomb side, and this is a sure round here for SK. They're not even going for it right now. United aren't even contending for this. They're already resigned.
4v3, when most of your players are concentrated towards the A-bomb site, that bomb's just been planted in long. Not only do they have to traverse half the map, they then have to try and retake with a man disadvantage. Smart move to save from eUnited at the moment. They can then drop weapons into the next round for their teammates and try and force something then. This round, they only really stand to hurt their economy if they tried to retake, so not surprising to see them actually resign quite early.
And it's not surprising to see SK with 2 players on the hunt. I believe it's Fur and FNX charging here to try and get some kills, but it's actually FNX throwing that Molotov. Ooh, that's pretty close. That's spam through the door. And CJ actually cops a headshot, but obviously those doors are made of some sort of space-grade titanium that absorbs 90% of AK bullets. I actually do miss that about the play on Dust2. I wish those doors were more spammable. I know that sounds weird because...
Not paper thin like they were in it.
Yeah, like not paper thin, but just... you know, a little bit more damage, so it was actually possible to, you know, get rewarded for knowledgeable play, spamming doors and being aware of positioning, that sort of stuff. Just a little bit more damage, that's all I ask, as eUnited get aggressive there. A2Z getting Fur on Fur and pushing aggressively through a smoke and getting the opening kill. That's what Fur was doing so effectively from that long position on SK's side of things, so... The player from eUnited there taking a leaf out of Fur's book and getting aggro. Oh, look at that flashbang from Taco. He's actually got 2 players there to get pushed back. Great awareness there from the SK player, but he doesn't get rewarded for excellence.
Great awareness, but he wasn't expecting to actually try and get frags in that instance. He was just trying to get himself out of that position. That's why he switched his knife for that extra movement speed. But now SK at a man disadvantage, 4v5, and setting themselves back up at the moment. Try and get some movement back towards long to see whether or not they can just pry some of these CTs away from their side.
FNX is going to play a huge role here towards the back end of the round. Taco does actually man through that Molotov and man through the flash, and he's going to get the angle, but CJ will close him down pretty wisely from that pit area. Now FNX is going to work his way towards B, and the bomb is coming back. 34 seconds here, so FNX plays a huge part in the outcome of this round. He'll fire away on that B side, but it will be eUnited with the positioning there. And Fallen and Cold Zero have some serious work to do. If any 1-2 punch in the game could pull this off, it is Fallen and Cold Zero, but just not possible there. Great use of utility and late use of utility there from the eUnited players, and that will force SK back into T-spawn and saving their guns.
Or at least attempting to. CJ is going to make it very difficult, but eUnited now are just flooding through those choke points and trying to find that frag, but I think they made that call. Let's consolidate their own economy.
Yeah, I rate that. I rate that. Not running at Fallen and Cold Zero, I rate that. Hold on to those guns, boys. Running at Fallen and Cold Zero isn't the smartest thing, and eUnited, that's when you can show respect. I like that from eUnited. That's the sound CS play. What they were doing in the first half, though, when they got on a roll and they fell off a little bit, they were showing too much respect. I know it's a very, very fine line and it's hard to gauge, but especially on T-side, you need to be confident that you can go aggressive and really get it done. eUnited had that swag to start the half, and then it's fallen off now. And speaking of fallen off, it is Shinobi going down to Fallen, as Cold Zero will trade A2Z as well, jumping off the short part of A. But good call here from the bomb, as it's going to rotate back towards A. It was going to commit to B there with the split, but SK and Fallen realizing that the boys in blue were down at the A bomb site, and the bomb rotates back to the bomb site with that pointy letter.
Even easier call to make now that they got that frag at top mid, so safe passage for that bomb to come straight back. He didn't have to double all the way back through T-spawn.
It's a lengthy rotate, but a safe one.
But it's a very safe play from SK, and not surprising to see something like that come out. They're not taking any risks here. The match scoreline has probably bled out a little bit too much for their liking. It was a good start from eUnited, but now TCK and Vice need to try and save their weaponry. They're going to have to try and save this out. But SK know exactly where they are.
Yeah, I don't really think that this one bled out too much for SK, just because they started on the CT side. So they got 9 rounds on CT. They jumped across. They've only lost two rounds so far on their attacking side. So yeah, they probably aren't thrilled with a 13-8 scoreline, but about to be 14-8. But given that they started on CT side and they started poorly on their CT side, they'll be very, very comfortable with where they are right now compared to where they were in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game.
It's been smooth sailing after those first couple rounds, but eUnited now need to get themselves back into this. They are going to put that AWP in the hands of Shinobi, so a lot rests on his shoulders at the moment. So the round through his scope will be very, very pivotal for them. Fallen, no real surprise to see him with that AWP on SK. And very heavy concentration from SK towards B early on, but no real commitment towards the site. They're just getting themselves in the position here to take short, and TCK very, very forward there with that smoke, but he's just more in an information position, trying to get some sound as to what's going on. Going to be Molotov'd out. SK now, this is what they start to do. They start to systematically flush out areas of the map, and that's exactly what they're doing. They cleared the double doors close with that Molotov, and now we'll be trying to work that pick in mid.
Yeah, that's a flash that's not hit its mark there from one of the mid players. I believe it was A2Z potentially flashing that one for his teammate from A, but once again, SK just way too much map control, as you said, Jim. That was pivotal there. SK clearing every nook and cranny there in mid and short before they eventually executed. And look, eUnited just simply ran out of spots. Simply ran out of spot style on the map. And SK will pick out their 15th round. The diamond in the rough, SK, coming from the South American continent. NA tries to claim SK, but we all know they're South American, Brazilian, and doing their country and their team proud right now, because SK have seen a return to form, as we've said. Didn't start off the season well in the ESL Pro League, but have really come around as we see Fallen and coldzera get on that AWP, and Shinobi stands no chance there. TCK, I admire the pair on your son, but no reward.
No reward for that at all. So with SK now with a clear man advantage over eUnited, we'll have just A to Z to try and clutch things out at the moment. He is in a 1 versus 5, and he has no real chance here. We'll get the frag onto FNX, but now 1 versus 4. The Bombers are going to head towards B. They're going to play this quite safe here, SK Gaming. They're not going to really give him a chance here by running at him individually.
He's going to want to pad his stats a little bit. He had a great first half. That CT aggression really changed the game for SK on this T half. I mean, as I said, he plays that lurking, so, second/third in role, or opposite side of the map a lot of the time. So when SK are rolling, he actually doesn't have an enormous role on that T side for SK, because a lot of the damage is being done before he even gets in. Fur does a lot of his best work coming up against Tier 1 opposition, let's say, where those gun battles may not always go SK's way. eUnited, though, just really lacking firepower. No one really picked them coming in to get this done. SK in a sick run of form again. Fur's back, he's playing well, and SK there just taking care of business.
Yeah, very, very solid effort there in the initial stages from eUnited. But once SK got going, the machine started to turn their cogs, and after that, they were just able to grind eUnited out.
Yeah.
Very strategical in their play. Aggression, it was controlled. It moulded eUnited the way that they wanted them to play. But after that, they were very clinical on their T side. Took control of key areas of the map. Started to limit the positions that their opposition could be in. And from there, the trading and just the raw fragging power of SK was far too superior for eUnited.
Yep.
But there is a second map in this 2-match series. So eUnited have some hope yet. That was SK's pick.
That was SK's pick. Let me just quickly...
I think we're going into train. Is the next
I believe so. Just let me double check that one. Yep. So we're going into SK's... No, eUnited's pick of train, sorry. GLHF. Against coldzera.
Running straight into the Lions' den.
Yeah, that's taking the challenge on. So mad props for eUnited for picking train, but I fear the worst for them. Look, I don't think that there's a map that eUnited can honestly say that they're better than SK on, so no matter what they pick, we're always going to sit here and talk about how the two maps probably favoured SK, but eUnited showed me enough there, Jim, that if they do prepare, they can do some things, but they need to stay aggressive. They need to stay confident.
They do, and this is probably a good opportunity, actually, to take a quick look at today's map schedule. So we've got SK versus eUnited first up, but we've then got Stellar match afterwards with Complexity up against Team Liquid. So that will be the next set of matches coming up. Obviously, SK getting their map pick there in the first instance. eUnited then will be running into the Lions Den, as we said, on train. Mirage and Dust2 will be the 2 sets for Complexity and Team Liquid. So a great day of Counter-Strike action coming up. Guys, we might go back to a quick break between the maps for the teams. So hopefully we won't be too long. Stick around. We'll be back with the second map between SK and eUnited.